Hello, everyone. This is Louise Crooks with Merle Westcott, and today we're talking about LifeWave and the X39 patch and all the wonders of this amazing medical device that we're all experiencing, or many of us have been experiencing. I'm really excited to share about that today because I know personally for myself that I've had a lot of benefits even in the only in the 6 weeks I've been on it so far. Um, I'd love to share a little bit about that before we dive in, Merle. Is that okay?
Perfect.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
great. Awesome. And I see we have Trish joining us as well. Welcome, Trish. Um, yeah, so my sister-in-law um first told me about it, and I was blown away when I saw her after 6 weeks of being on the patch. She had or has rheumatoid arthritis, and after 2 weeks of being on the patch, she said that she was feeling a lot better. And then 6 weeks on, or 6 weeks, 4 weeks later, it was her birthday, so I gave her a call and we had video, and I could not believe the change in the way she looked. She was glowing, she was relaxed, and I know she'd had a very stressful time at work recently around that time. And she said that she was pain-free and off 5 of her 6 meds at that point. So I was like, so I've been struggling with chronic migraine for a very long time, like 3 decades. And I was like, sign me up, thank you very much. And she got me onto your call about a LifeWave and X39, just like we're doing now. And as soon as that was over, I signed up and jumped in. And I was also very excited about the business too. Just really spoke to me. I truly believe in holistic healing, and the product has just blown me away. So with my experience of it, the first night, I experienced much better sleep, deeper sleep, and my sleep patterns adjusted immediately. I've always had issues in the last 5 years, especially I think going through menopause and things like that, where my sleep patterns just really were awful. And so I developed diabetes, which I think can be one of those things that sleep can have a big effect on. Um, and yeah, so I wanted to, see what effect it had on the migraines. And I was very patient with this process, and I am very patient with this process. I believe that some things can take a lot longer. But I've been blown away also by the experience of how I'm doing with the migraines. And I have about 4 or 5 a week. And normally I would be in a daze going from one to the other without it understanding where the end of one finished and the beginning of another started. And it was very, very tough. And I found with this, being on the X39, that I'm able to delineate the start and the beginning of a migraine. The migraine is much shorter. I can probably handle it within an hour or two. It's over. And I feel normal and clear, like between. It's just really amazing. The fog has cleared, feel more focused. I mean, I had a lot of cognitive issues because of the migraines as well, and I feel that's clearing up a lot. Um, so just incredible the experience I'm having on that. And normally I would take 3 or 4 painkillers in a day, and I would say I'm taking maybe 1 or 2 a week, if that. So it's a huge, huge um thing for me. The other part of it as well is that, when you are dealing with a chronic illness like migraines, like I have, depression is often the thing that happens alongside it. And so I found almost immediately that my depression started to lift, and I had a lot more get up and go in the morning. Normally I would really struggle to get out of bed. I would be sleeping a lot, and just generally not having much of a desire for life. And that has just shifted completely. I've reduced my meds, and I'm looking forward to doing that again soon. So it's just been amazing. Um, and I have burning mouth syndrome, for anyone who knows about that too. It's a recent issue, and it's become a lot better in the last month or so, I would say. I had this feeling of my tongue being scalded the whole time, and that has pretty much dissipated. So I'm looking forward to, further results with that. And I know so many who do struggle with that issue, have a very hard time. So I'm very hopeful. I have a client in Australia who has it very badly. She can't work even. So I'm hoping for her that this will make a big difference too. So I'm excited. So Mel, you also had a great result, didn't you? Do you want to just share a little bit about that?
Absolutely. Thanks. So when I joined LifeWave in December 2022, it was very new in South Africa, which is where I am, although it's a 20-year-old company this year. So I was said it's a best kept secret. And when I joined, I thought my husband had tinnitus. I heard from a friend in Spain that their tinnitus had gone. So that was really my focus. But what happened instead was I'd injured my shoulder in a fitness challenge in 2012 and flipping those great big tractor tires, as you do.
Oh my goodness.
And what happened was that I couldn't do things like tricep dips. I had to go to the chiro at least twice a month. Now I haven't been to the chiro in the last year. In fact, in the first week, I could sleep with my arm under my pillow again, which I haven't been able to do in years. I always say to the chiros in my network, I know that's not how you're supposed to sleep, but it's how I can sleep. So I can do that. And then 4 months on, when I did my blood test for my thyroid didn't improve, but because I'm on meds, I didn't know. But for me, what happened, I'm also in holistic health. So I've been a life alignment therapist since 1996, and I've practiced full time since 1999, and I'm one of the senior teachers in the world. And then I'm a low carb nutritionist. When I saw what it did for one of my clients who had an internal decapitation 34 years ago, when she started patching in January last year, she hadn't even driven a car for 12 years. She was pretty much bedridden. She had no life anymore. And within a month, she was driving her husband's car. By Easter last year, she went to Mozambique. So she got a passport for the first time in years, left the country, had an amazing holiday with her family, and by September, she went to Greece on holiday and walked 15,000 steps a day. When I saw that, I realized that this patch also regenerates spinal cords. Louise can share that story with anyone who would like to see her talking about her testimony, because for me, that was the point where I went, okay, I can't keep this a secret. Yes, I was never network marketing again, but I have to. And the results have just been phenomenal, and it's been life-changing on all fronts.
Yeah, that's amazing. I know her story because I know you've shared it before, but I didn't realize she did 15,000 steps a day, That's incredible. Wow. Yeah, her story is amazing. Well, thanks for sharing that, Merle. Do you want to get the slide started and we can go ahead with that?
Okay, so just give me a sec, just get from the beginning. And then.
So, people like Merle and I, we are always asking, have you patched yet? And in fact, I joke because, there's always there's that saying of, there's an app for that. I keep saying there's a patch for that.
Like this.
Yes. So Merle's holding up the little patch. It's a very simple little band-aid / plaster for those who are listening in South Africa. And it's medical grade plastic and hypoallergenic, sticky stuff on there. Nothing is transdermal from the patch. It's non-transdermal. So it's actually a light wave therapy. And, the heat that we have from our body is actually light, and it gets reflected back into the body at certain wavelengths, and it stimulates the growth of or the proliferation of copper peptides, which in turn turn the dormant stem cells back on in our body. So David Schmidt, he is an incredible man. I'm so impressed with him. He had such integrity, and I really like him. He's not one of these rah-rah people. He just says it how it is. He's the CEO and inventor of LifeWave patches and the X39. And he specializes in age reversing. So we're not even talking about anti-aging or slowing the aging process down. We're actually talking about age reversal. And with the X39 patch, for example, if you've been on it for 6 months, your heart, for example, is 8 years younger. If you've been on it for a couple of months, your cardiovascular system has renewed itself, and the collagen in the body is supporting that as well. So in 2008, he focused his attention on stem cell research. And for those of you who are not familiar with stem cells, they are the cells that we have when we're born. And, you know, when we're young, of course, we can bounce back from anything. And that's because of our stem cells. They're happy and healthy, and there's lots of them. You know, when you get to 30, you only have about 50% of your stem cells. I think it's maybe 45% or 50% are active. And by the time you hit 60, they're nearly all dormant. So you can see why we would be starting to struggle after, you know, into our late 30s, 40 and beyond, because our bodies are aging and also not handling disease very well. So in 2008, he focused his attention on stem cell research, and it took about 10 years for this patch, the X39 stem cell patch, to come to market, because he's very up on doing clinical trials, and he patented it. And the patent, you know, means that it does what it says it does. So it took $4.5 million to bring to market, and it came onto the market in, was it 220 or 219 mil?
2019.
2020. Sorry?
2019.
2019. Yeah. So as I mentioned, it's patented technology, and you have to be able to, you know, they won't patent something that doesn't do what it says. So according to at least one embodiment of the invention, which may be worn anywhere on the body, as shown in figure 1, I guess that's probably in the patent, but it says here, causes a beneficial effect at least by providing phototherapy to a human body, and for example, in some embodiments, as a result of elevating copper peptides, including activation of stem cells, improvement in energy, elevation of antioxidants, reduction in inflammation, management of pain, improvements in stamina, elevation of collagen production, and improved wound healing. So yeah, it's incredible what it can do. And you know, we have to be a bit careful about how we talk about the X39, because the FDA has approved it, but under certain remits. So, you know, we don't want to say that it actually cures, diagnoses, or heals, but it activates the cells that do. And that's the key. So the fewer stem cells you have, the faster you age and the slower you heal. It's a fact. We all have experienced that, right? And hundreds of millions of people are experiencing symptoms of aging. I mean, I think we all do it, especially at our age. Certainly with the people that are on the call at the moment, we've all experienced that. And as I mentioned earlier, at 30, only half your stem cells are active, and at age 60, you lose almost all stem cell activity. So, you know, it's why people don't have surgeries later on in life, you know, because they might not survive it because their bodies can't heal. So, when you have stem cells proliferating in your body, you can come back from those things. So how does the X39 work? I talked a little bit about it before, but I'll go through this again. It's a proprietary form of phototherapy or light therapy, which means that light waves are reflected back into the body from the patch at certain wavelengths. And so it stimulates certain activations in the body based on those wavelengths. It's a patented nanocrystal technology. So it actually has sugars and salts and amino acids in the patch, which do the work that it's supposed to, and it reflects the light to activate. I talked about copper peptides. So we have a lot of copper in our body, which can actually cause harm. But when this is stimulated in the body, it actually creates something called a copper peptide, which is what you really want. And these copper peptides then activate the stem cells, which is awesome. It's non-transdermal, which means there's nothing coming into the body from the patch. So it doesn't interfere with any medications, anything like that. It's purely just working with light waves and creating, the proliferation of stem cells, and which means that your body is working optimally and healing the areas it needs to heal. No drugs, chemicals, or stimulants have anything to do with the patches, for sure. And as I mentioned, it's non-invasive, so there's nothing coming from the patch except light waves. Okay, so the benefits of X39, I mean, we've talked about specific things that Merle and I have experienced. But just to share a bit more, increased strength is one of them. Reduced inflammation. So inflammation can be a very key thing, especially if you're dealing with a lot of stress. And so it really brings down the inflammation in the body and reduces that stress. Increased stamina, energy, and vitality. I have definitely felt an uptick in my energy and vitality levels. I feel much more capable of facing the day, especially after, living with decades of migraine all the time. So that's been huge. Mental clarity. I think mental clarity is big for so many of us, right? Many of us can feel like we're walking around with mental fog, brain fog, we call it. And that often is cleared up by the X39 patch. Restored muscle and skeletal conditions. That's huge. And that's because it's working on the collagen in the body. And we're not just talking about on your skin, your face, which it absolutely has an impact on, but also on your organs and your cells, because they all use collagen. Improvement of sleep. As I mentioned, sleep has been a huge thing for me, and it was improved almost immediately. And then improved skin appearance. So, within 4 to 8 weeks, you'll find that your skin starts to change and looks amazing. And interestingly, I discovered this morning, I had kind of TMI, but I had a wart that was quite flat, with a sort of a orange peel feel to it on my breast. And I just happened to notice yesterday that it was completely gone. So, that's just an example of how it can work with the skin as well. Thanks, Mel. So here we have a sample of brain topography of an elderly woman, and it's said this participant was a 77-year-old woman, and after the first diagram, you'll see that we placed the X39 on the back of her neck. So in the first session, when they took a picture of her brain, there was a lot of inflammation in the brain and a lack of brain coherence. So what we want to do is balance the brain. And inflammation can look a number of different things, but for example, senility could be an example of inflammation of the brain, confusion, things like that. Session 2, when she came 3 weeks with 3 weeks on X39, no more inflammation, improved brain coherence. And then in session 3, with 6 weeks on, it was a complete turnaround and much better brain coherence. So her brain was hyperactive with the inflammation. So what would that look like, Mel, if someone's has a hyperactive brain, aside from things like confusion and senility, are there any other thoughts around that? Would it be like ADD or
Yeah, I was going to say in
not
younger people,
focusing? Hmm?
in younger people, it will be your ADD.
Yeah. And autism. Yeah.
Autism, yeah.
Yeah.
But this study, it was a clinical study, it was all done on older people.
Yes.
And you can, of course, transfer the topography maps to any part of the body, and we do have topography maps of different parts of the
Yes.
body, and even of animals, like they've done topography maps of horses, where you see the inflammation and you see how quickly it goes with patching.
Yeah. Well, I've seen it in my cat. I mean, his confusion and senility has almost disappeared. Well, I patch my cat after I finish with it for the day, and it's incredible what's happened there. But anyway, I digress. So yes, so her brain calmed down dramatically after a few weeks on the patch. So the X39 long-term results per case studies, if you want to have a look, you can go to thisisit.info.com. You can have a wonderful deep dive into that site. We collated a lot of information so that you can find out more, and we even have doctors being interviewed about it and lots of testimonials and things on there. So do have a look. So in the first few days of wearing the patch, there are about 4,000 genes that begin to reset. So, the healing starts immediately. And within 6 weeks, the brain becomes balanced. So I think I must be at that mark at the moment, Mil.
I think so. I'm
Within 3 months, your collagen is increased. And within 6 months, heart reverses in age. It's incredible. And as David Schmidt says, it's not anti-aging, it's age reversal. So it's incredible. So when you're wearing the X39 patch, you would wear it for 12 hours on and 12 hours off to repair and rejuvenate. So put it on when you brush your teeth and take it off, 12 hours later, and then put it on your animal, your dog, your cat, whatever. And then you would put a new patch on the next day and repeat. You can wear more than one at a time, especially if you've got a specific area that you want to try and heal. But just to be aware that if you do that, you only get about 20% of the efficacy from the second patch. So you've got to decide whether it's worth your while and your money to do that. It may be, because if you're really struggling and want lots of healing to happen, and cost is not an issue, you can certainly go ahead and do that. The other thing you want to do with the X39 is drink plenty of water. You want to up your water intake. Our bodies are an electrical system, and it means that the flow of the stem cells will, they'll get to certain parts of the body faster if we are properly hydrated. The other part of that as well is to take electrolytes, which helps the body to do that as well. It needs minerals. Okay. So, with what's gone into the X39, it's very sophisticated, but yet it's very simple, in terms of how we explain it and how we use it. But you can tell certainly from testimonies and from my own testimony, even, that it's life-changing and can be quite an emotional experience from that point of view. And the best thing about it is that it totally works. It's incredible. I mean, ultimately, stem cells, they do what is needed in the body, and they are, I mean, they're little miracles. I call this a miracle patch. I mean, to be able to create stem cells that then go and do what's needed in the body is just amazing. You wanna, yeah. So make sure to go to thisisit.info.com just to just have a little peruse at the videos and the testimonials, the case studies, etc., etc. It's all in there. Thisisit.info.com.
Right, thanks, Louise. So when we look at any multi-level marketing company, we want to know, is it stable? Because most of them don't last past 4 years. LifeWave is 19 years old. We turned 20 this year. So we're a stable company. We've been around for a long time. What did happen, though, is when X39 was launched, it went from being used mainly by doctors in their surgeries, our other patches, things like Aeon for inflammation, IceWave for pain, so being used by doctors and other medical professionals, to being multi-level marketed, because the marketers got hold of the product because it was so effective, because everybody has a story to tell. So it went from a $20 million a year company in 2021 to a $320 million a year company in 2022, and $430 million in 2023. And in fact, last month we had our best month ever. So it's just absolutely unbelievable how the company is growing. And since I've been in the company, we've had a whole lot of our best month ever. So it's quite interesting. So we open in over 75 countries now. And the interesting thing is we're not a Me Too product like most multi-level marketing products. A lot of them are amazing products, but if you say, I've got a new weight loss product, somebody else is going to say, well, mine's better. Or I've got a new skincare. Well, I've got one too. Or supplements, whether it be CBD oil or collagen or whatever the supplement is, somebody else is also going to have that supplement. With our patches, nobody else can have them because they are patented. And the big thing about all those other products is when they become too expensive or somebody has run out and they've forgotten to get, they are going to go to the shops and they're going to buy a similar product in the shops. So it's not exclusive to MLM. Or the company, with us, my local pharmacy stocks product and they use it in the pharmacy, but if you go and you buy it from them, you are going to pay retail price and not wholesale, which is 50% more. So they would rather even sign their people up if they're going to use X39 as preferred customers or brand partners. We are ranked the #1 momentum company on businessforhome.org, which is an American site that reviews all the different network marketing companies, and we've been there the last few months. Now, we belong to a team called This Is It, which was started by Steve and Gina Merritt, who have only been in the company just short of 2 years, and their growth has been, or the growth that they've brought to the company is absolutely amazing. And we had a conference in January where corporate came and they showed us this graph. And last year, our team, This Is It, outperformed the rest of the company, every other team in the company. So we've also just been awarded the #1 growth company at the Global Bravo Awards. Now, there are two pictures here. The picture on the left is Steve and Gina Merritt. Gina is in the pantsuit, Steve's in the black shirt, along with David Schmitz and Meredith, who is the company president. And that is at This Is It conference last year, which is how our team took the name. They were part of a team with Onyx Cole, who brought them in. And our team grew so big that they split because Onyx has got many, many teams. It took her 3 years to bring them in, so don't ever give up on anybody. And on the right is Meredith and her corporate team receiving the award. Now, at this point, we always say, what is most important in your life? Your family, your time. Do you want freedom? Freedom from your job, time freedom, whatever type of freedom you want, looking for. Security. Do you want to travel? Better health, less debt. When I joined LifeWave, it was all about the health. I was looking for better health for my nearest and dearest. We were in debt, thank you to COVID, but I wasn't even considering that I would network it. But I can tell you now that a year and a half later, I'm completely debt-free. And I hadn't traveled internationally since pre-COVID, and 2 weeks' time, I will be on a plane to Prague at this exact time. So paid for by the company, which is amazing.
Wonderful.
We have an incredible compensation plan. We get compensated for bringing people into the company, although they don't pay to join, they're paying for product, but we still get compensated. And then we build teams. So we work on a binary. So we build a left and a right leg. You've only got 2 legs, you only build 2 legs. You put one person left, one right, one left, one right. It's really easy. To go manager, you come in on gold, or you need to upgrade to gold, and we'll talk about that in a minute. And you need to put in 4 friends, 2 on each leg, silver or above, and you will be a manager. Once you're a manager, you unlock the whole compensation plan and the commissions. We get what's called cycle bonuses. So everybody on the legs that you are on create volume. And that volume equates to cycle bonuses. So every time you have 330 volume on your lesser leg, or we call it the pay leg, and you have 660 volume on your power leg, you get a cycle bonus, which is $50. And you could make $50 a month if you like, or if you want to make $100 a month, or 500, or 5,000, or 25,000, we can help you do that. It really is as easy as bringing in people and helping them to do the same. Now, everybody on the leg that you come in on, who adds people, everyone from above you, they all flop down below you and they create volume for you, because everything they do creates volume, and volume is just the product people are buying. And they're not buying tons and tons of product that they can't use. That was one of the reasons that I was anti-multi-level marketing. When my in-laws passed away and we cleared up their home, we emptied the garage. There was product from when they had done marketing years and years before, where they had to buy more and more and more product. And that's not how LifeWave works at all, which is very exciting. The product we buy every month, we use. I buy a little bit extra so I can patch other people, but I'm always needing product because I'm running out. So I don't have tons and tons of product. I don't retail it either. We also have something called a matching bonus. And this is incredibly exciting because on a matching bonus, it's not capped. So our cycles are capped. Our senior presidential directors are capped at $25,000 a week. And many of them max that out every week, but our cycle bonuses are not capped. So as soon as you're a manager, you tap into cycle match. So that means that once you're a manager and somebody that you introduced on your first line, which is people directly underneath you, you sign them up. When they get a cycle bonus, you get 25%, not of their money. They still get their $50. The company gives you 25%. So if Louise was my first line and she earned $1,000 a week on cycle bonuses, I would get 25% of that. So my inviter, Candice Donadell, who is a senior presidential director, I'm a presidential director, but I earn more than her because it took her longer to build. For a long time, her main income came off cycle match because she became a manager, which meant that every cycle I got, she got 25% of it. And she always says to people, the incredible thing about this business is that you can out-earn and outperform the person who brought you in. You're not stuck, because somebody said to me today, I was in a meeting earlier today, that her husband said she can't come in because only the people who come in first are earning. Well, we've come in 18, 19 years after the company started. Steve and Gina Merritt are earning more than any other brand partner in the company, and they're people who've been in it since the company started. So that's simply not true with LifeWave. Our second line, so if Clive was under Louise, he would be my second line. Every cycle that he got, I would get 20% of. He would also get all his cycles. And if Lindsay was under Clive, or it would be my third line, and I would get 20% from my third line. And that, as I say, is uncapped. So if you have 40 people you've brought in personally and they're all getting cycle bonuses, you are going to get 25% on all of those people. And all the people they bring in are their second line, and the people they bring in are your third line. After that, you just get volume. But that's absolutely fine too, because the volume adds to your cycle bonuses. So how do you come in? You come in where you fit in. So David Schmidt says everybody should do a 90-day protocol. But we know that a lot of people, it takes longer to see results. I have several people in my team who it's taken 10 months or a year to get the results they want. They've had other results first. So, for example, I have Trish who has bulging discs in her spine. They wanted to do surgery. A year later, there are no bulging discs in her spine, but it's taken a year. In between, her sleep improved, her resting heart rate improved. Her sports watch told her that. So all sorts of other things happened, but the spine has taken a year. But when she started, she couldn't stand for 10 minutes without being in agony and having to lie down. And a couple of weeks ago in Cape Town in South Africa, there was a health expo for 3 days. She stood on the LifeWave stand for 3 days and she managed it. So that's the difference from 10 minutes to 3 days of standing. So if you just want to do that, you come in on silver. It's going to cost you $299.95. You'll get 3 sleeves of X39. Now, the great thing with LifeWave is you can upgrade at any time. So if you come in on silver and the next month you want to go to gold, or even the next week, you just pay the difference and get the difference in product, because remember, to be a manager, you need to be on gold. Gold is $499.95. It gives you 5 sleeves of X39 plus a free supplementary sleeve. So Eon for inflammation or LifeWave, you can choose what you want, so you get a free sleeve. When you're really serious about building, like my local pharmacy, although they came in on silver and then a week later upgraded to diamond when they saw what was happening in their clinic, then you would come in on diamond, which is what, $1,599.95. You get 19 sleeves of X39. They drop in price to $84 a sleeve. Plus, there are other benefits, like you don't have to buy a product for 3 months and you're active and you earn more on introducing people on platinum and diamond. Now, of course, we have to stay active because it's a business and businesses need product to move. If you had a florist shop, you would need to sell flowers. So if you're LifeWave patches or what need to go. But until you are a manager, to stay active, which means you keep all those points that you're accumulating, because later on you can tap into them. So again, it's not the company that says, well, every month we reset and you lose all the volume you've got. No, you keep your volume. So as long as you stay active, you keep your volume. So until you're a manager, 1 sleeve of patches, 1 sleeve of X39 a month will keep your volume. It'll give you 55 points a month. So that's all you'll need. Once you're a manager, all the way up to senior presidential director, you only need 2 sleeves of patches a month to stay active and to open up the whole compensation plan. In my house, there are 3 of us who patch. My son's 20, my husband, myself. That's 3 sleeves of X39 before we even look at anything else that we put on our bodies. And we use Eon, glutathione, carnosine, SP6, LifeWave, Alavida. Name it, we use it. I've tried them all. And they are all absolutely amazing. So why is this not moving? There we go. So the next website, if you're going to come into the business, it's worth going to thisisateam.com, where you will find sections on the compensation plan. So what I've explained now in 5 minutes will be explained to you in an hour with whiteboard drawings and in absolute detail, so you know exactly where you're going. In fact, there are about 3 or 4 YouTubes with different senior presidential directors explaining how the compensation plan works. There's sections on how you onboard, how you set up your e-wallet so you can be paid. All of those things are on thisisateam.com. So everything's been put together for you. Now, why is there a picture of Punta Cana? So the trip that I'm going on in 2 weeks' time was an incentive trip that ran from last year, and we finished it in January. Then so the 16 weeks or the 18 weeks finished in January. But in November, there are the second lot of incentive trips for the year. So all the regions are having incentives, and everybody's going to be away at exactly the same time because it's when the company turns 20. So everyone who qualifies, they've made the qualification so easy. So even if you join now, we're only 4 weeks in, or we're in the 4th week, you can still qualify to go. It really is not difficult. One of my brand partners from the UK will be in Prague with me, and he only joined in December, and I think he had 6 weeks, and he qualified in 6 weeks to go on the Prague incentive. So people in America will be going to Punta Cana, all paid for. They'll pay for your air tickets, the accommodation in a 5-star resort. Those of us in Europe, so South Africa falls under Europe, we'll be going to Morocco, and people in the Asia region, which is your Australia, New Zealand, Hong Kong, those sorts of places, they will be going to Da Nang in Vietnam. So there are 3 trips.
And for your partner as well, hey, Mel?
What's that?
And they include 2 tickets, so it's you and your partner.
Yes.
Didn't used to be like that.
Qualify, yeah. So depending on how you qualify, both air tickets are paid for, or only one, but you get two people, whereas before only one person qualified, whereas I qualified as a senior director on the last trip. So my husband gets to go too, but I also qualified on points. I qualified both ways last time. This time, even if you only qualify on the minimum amount of points, you get one air ticket, 2 trips, and you pay the second air ticket. Or if you get 25 points more, then you get both air tickets. So they really have made it very, very easy. So the time is now to make your move. Are you serious about your dreams? So if your dream is to have better health, to be migraine-free, to live longer, or is your dream to make your millions? We can help you with whatever your dream is. So there is hope for your future. Get started with X39 and go back to whoever invited you to the call, which I'm assuming is Louise.
Well, some people will be coming because some of my downline will have invited them as well. So definitely, you know, if it's Teresa, you know, go back to her, and a few other people. So yeah, make sure to connect with the person who invited you, and certainly connect with me if I invited you. And you can connect with me on various number of ways, on WhatsApp and on Messenger, on Facebook. My number is 732-299-2347. You can always give me a call or text me. I am here, and I would love for you to, you know, excel, whether it's in your health or your and well-being, or your financial freedom. You know, for me, both are important, and I'm so excited. I've seen what can be earned in this company. You know, Merle's doing extremely well. Her upline is doing amazingly well. I mean, we are talking about, well, I'll give you an example. So in my first month, I have earned $1,000 already. So to me, I think that's pretty significant. You know, you're not waiting to get income coming in for a long time. So that was, I felt that was pretty exciting. And you know, my goal is to have reached 4,000 a month, 4,000 a week by the end of October. Do you think that's a doable goal, Mel?
I think you could do it. I think it might be a stretch, but I think you can.
Definitely. I mean, we've seen some people do these things in crazy time frames. So I'm definitely gung-ho and happy to be training the people that come in under me as well. So it's the benefit of being a marketing coach for holistic practitioners is serving me well.
Wonderful.
So thank you all for being here. And if you're watching the recording, thank you for watching. And thank you, Merle, for being here and sharing about the X39 with me. It's all very exciting. So
No, it's an absolute pleasure, Louise.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you everyone for being here, and take care.
Thank you.
And enjoy the rest of your day. Or not. Bye, everybody. Bye.
Bye
Bye,
bye.
everyone.
Bye.